Top 3 foods to prevent leg cramps in seniors. Strengthen your legs. Once Mr. William, a 68-year-old retired teacher living in the quiet suburbs of Oregon, shared something with me that I've never forgotten. One crisp autumn afternoon with golden sunlight spilling over the porch of his old wooden house, he sat beside a warm cup of tea and said slowly, "I'm not afraid of growing old. I'm afraid of the silent pain at 3 a.m. Have you ever experienced that, a peaceful night's sleep interrupted by a sudden violent cramp that pulls your calf muscles so tight it feels like it might tear? You lie there wincing in silence, trying not to wake the person sleeping beside you. Your foot curls, your heart races, and your trembling hands search for comfort under the blanket, hoping the pain passes quickly. For Mr. William, that was nearly every night. At first he thought maybe it's just part of aging. He changed his shoes, tried massages, took calcium, went for light swims in the evening. But nothing worked. His legs still betrayed him in the quietest hours of the night. Then one day during a small wellness session at his local community center, a young doctor looked at him and said, "Maybe it's not your age. Maybe it's something you're missing, not a pill but a food." That sentence stopped him in his tracks. From that moment on, Mr. Williams started to view food differently. He no longer ate just to feel full. He ate to nourish his legs, every muscle fiber, every blood vessel, every nerve ending. Because he wanted to keep walking every morning hand in hand with his wife through the same park they had walked for over 40 years. In the pain at 3 a.m., it slowly disappeared. Today, I want to share with you a journey like that. The journey of legs that seemed weak but were really just calling for help. And sometimes the answer doesn't lie in prescriptions, but in your very own kitchen. Before we dive in, if you care about your health and the truths that few people talk about, hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you won't miss out on the small things that can truly transform the way you care for your body every day. And I want to know you're here with me. If this message resonates with you, type 1 in the comments. If it doesn't, type 0. You might not realize it yet, but your simple comment could be the reason someone else decides to change their life. Now let's begin. 1. The midnight mystery. Why leg cramps aren't just about aging. For most of his life, Frank never really thought about his legs. He was an active man, served in the Navy, worked in construction, danced at weddings well into his 60s. But now at 71, his legs were sending him messages he didn't understand. It started with little twinges at night. Then came the tight knots of pain that jolted him out of sleep. Sometimes they'd last a few seconds, other times minutes. It felt like his muscles were revolting. I figured it was just part of getting older, he told me. Everyone my age gets these right. That's what most people believe. And yet that belief is quietly keeping millions of older adults in pain. Yes, age plays a role in how our muscles behave, but getting older isn't the reason your legs cramp up in the middle of the night. The truth is far more nuanced and far more hopeful. What's really happening inside your legs? Imagine your muscles as hardworking employees in a factory. Every contraction they make needs orders from a supervisor, your nerves proper materials, to operate electrolytes like magnesium, potassium, and calcium, and enough rest to avoid burnout. As we age, several things begin to shift. Our circulation slows down, nutrients take longer to reach our muscles. We lose muscle mass, making each muscle work harder to keep us steady. Our hydration and nutrient levels drop more easily, especially if we're on medications, have lower appetites, or don't absorb nutrients like we used to. So when your leg cramps at 3 a.m., it's often a perfect storm. Tired muscles, disrupted nerve signals, imbalanced electrolytes, and sometimes, believe it or not, a skipped banana at breakfast or a glass of water you forgot to drink before bed. The real culprit isn't just one thing. For years, Frank tried everything short of sleeping standing up. He stretched, took warm baths, even kept pickle juice by the bed. Yes, that's a thing. Nothing worked long-term until a dietitian pointed out something he hadn't considered. It's not just about avoiding cramps. It's about rebuilding the way your muscles recover every day. That's when he started looking into his diet, not for what he shouldn't eat, but what his muscles were desperate for. A small shift. A big change. Frank began incorporating simple, powerful foods into his daily meals, starting with a boiled egg in the morning, a banana after his afternoon walk, and a handful of almonds in the evening. Nothing fancy, no trendy superfoods, just real, nutrient-rich choices that fed his muscles what they needed. Within 3 weeks, the cramps that had haunted his nights for 2 years were gone. What's the takeaway here? Muscle cramps are not a life sentence. They're a symptom of a body that's been quietly undernourished, overworked, or both. And while aging might turn up the volume on these signals, you have more control than you think. You don't need a shelf full of supplements or a new prescription. Often the most powerful change starts on your plate. Coming up next, we're going to dive into one of the simplest, most overlooked sources of muscle-repairing nutrition, a food so familiar it's probably sitting in your fridge right now. And no, it's not kale. Let's talk about eggs. 2. Eggs, the everyday food that quietly rebuilds your muscles. In a small town in Nebraska, there's an elderly couple named Mr. and Mrs. Henderson. Every morning, Mr. Henderson wakes up early, lights the stove, brews coffee, and boils 2 eggs, one for him, one for his wife. "We've done this since we were young," Mrs. Henderson says with a soft smile. "It's just a habit now." What they didn't know was that this simple morning ritual was one of the reasons their legs had stayed strong and steady over the years. While others in the neighborhood began to talk about leg cramps and needing walkers, the Hendersons kept taking quiet walks each morning, tending their backyard garden, and never once needing assistance to move around. One of their doctors during a checkup once remarked, "Those 2 eggs every morning are probably the most powerful investment you've ever made for your muscles." Why are eggs so important? A large egg contains about 6 grams of high-quality protein, and more importantly, it's what nutritionists call a complete protein, meaning it includes all 9 essential amino acids the human body can't produce on its own. This matters deeply for older adults. As we age, the body's ability to absorb and use protein decreases. Without enough protein, muscles weaken, fatigue sets in faster, and healing slows down, all of which create the perfect storm for leg cramps and loss of balance. Eggs don't just feed your muscles, they help rebuild the fibers that have broken down quietly over time. The hidden gift inside the yolk: vitamin D. Another reason eggs deserve a place at your table is because they're one of the few natural food sources of vitamin D, especially in the yolk. And for many older adults who no longer spend long hours in the sun or whose skin doesn't synthesize vitamin D efficiently anymore, this is crucial. Without enough vitamin D, muscles become stiff and sluggish. Calcium can't be absorbed properly, and the body loses one of its most important tools to prevent cramps and maintain strength. A real story: 1 egg, 1 change, 1 night of better sleep. Marianne, 64, from California, once shared in a wellness forum how she used to suffer from nightly leg cramps so intense they would pull her out of deep sleep. She tried magnesium supplements, electrolyte drinks, stretching before bed. Nothing worked. Then one day she stumbled upon a study linking vitamin D and B12 in eggs to muscle health. That week she made a small change. Instead of her usual toast with jelly, she began her mornings with a hard-boiled egg and a side of sautéed spinach. Within a month, the cramps had nearly vanished. Her sleep improved. Her calves no longer felt tight in the mornings. And at her next doctor visit, her vitamin D levels had inched upward just a little, but enough to make a difference. Eggs aren't just an affordable, easy-to-prepare food. They're a quiet kind of medicine filled with the exact nutrients aging bodies quietly crave. Protein for strength, vitamin D for muscle function, B12 and choline for stable nerve signaling. You don't need to eat a dozen a week. Just 6 to 7 eggs spread throughout your days, paired with greens, or a bit of whole grain, can be enough. And if you're concerned about cholesterol, you can stick to egg whites or alternate how you prepare them: boiled, steamed, or gently scrambled with vegetables. There's no secret formula here. Just patience, consistency, and a willingness to listen to what your body's been asking for all along. And if eggs are the quiet companion that nourish your muscles from the inside out, then next we'll meet something softer, sweeter. A fruit that's been sitting quietly in your kitchen all this time, waiting to unlock the nervous system's balance and restore smooth, powerful movement in your legs. Can you guess what it is? Let's find out in the next part. 3. Bananas, the sweet fruit that brings flexibility back to your legs. Mr. Larry, 73, lives alone on the outskirts of Nashville. For years, he had a habit of taking a morning walk around his neighborhood. But over time, those walks became less frequent. Not because he didn't want to go, but because every time he stepped out of bed, he'd clutch his calf, locked up from a painful cramp. Some mornings the pain was so intense he had to sit for nearly an hour before he could even reach the front door. "I just figured it was poor circulation," he told me. "Never thought a banana could change everything." That's how it began, simple and almost silly. After a routine checkup, his doctor suggested he might be low in potassium. And what easier way to fix that than with 1 banana a day? Potassium, the mineral that controls muscle movement. Most leg cramps happen when muscles tighten uncontrollably, and potassium is the mineral that keeps muscle contractions balanced and steady. When potassium levels dip too low, nerve cells start sending faulty signals, which can trigger sudden painful spasms. A medium banana contains about 420 millimoles of potassium, roughly 12% of your daily needs. But bananas do more than just deliver potassium. They also contain magnesium, which relaxes the muscles, and vitamin B6, which supports the nervous system, helping brain and muscle communicate clearly and calmly. When one banana did more than expected, Mr. Larry began eating one banana every day after lunch. At first, it felt like just another thing to try. He didn't expect much, but by the second week, he noticed something: the morning cramps weren't as intense. Then one day he stepped out of bed and there was no pain at all. He didn't celebrate right away. He kept the routine going. After a month, he was back to his morning walks, quiet steps around the neighborhood, feeling steady once again. No meds, no machines. Just a banana he shared with a grin at the local senior center's wellness gathering. One more thing most people don't know: bananas also provide natural carbohydrates and hydration, which help balance electrolytes and fuel muscle recovery. Eating a banana in the late afternoon or 1 to 2 hours before bed helps your body rebuild overnight, and many older adults report deeper sleep and fewer nighttime cramps as a result. If you have diabetes, consider pairing your banana with fiber-rich foods like nuts, oats, or plain yogurt to keep your blood sugar steady. Bananas are nature's quiet gift, easy to find, easy to eat, and often forgotten. But when you listen closely to your body, you begin to realize the simplest things are sometimes the most powerful solutions. And if bananas are the key to calming your nerves and preventing those 3 a.m. wake-up calls, then up next, we'll explore a crunchy little secret: a group of small but mighty foods that are packed with muscle-repairing nutrients and circulation-boosting fats, the kind that might just bring your legs back to life one handful at a time. Let's talk about nuts and seeds. 4. Nuts and seeds, tiny foods. Tremendous power for aging legs. Every evening around 7 p.m., Mrs. Darlene from Boise, Idaho, would make herself a small bowl of tea and sit by the window with a handful of almonds and walnuts. "It's my quiet time," she'd say, watching the sky dim over the pine trees in her backyard. She didn't choose those nuts for health reasons, at least not at first. It was just a snack she enjoyed. But over time, something remarkable happened. Those nagging leg cramps that used to jolt her awake night after night, they faded. She hadn't changed anything else. No new pills, no special therapies. Just that quiet evening habit. The muscle magic inside a handful of nuts. Nuts and seeds are some of the richest natural sources of magnesium and potassium, 2 minerals your muscles absolutely depend on to relax, recover, and function properly. When you're low on either one, your muscles can stiffen up, spasm, or feel unusually sore after even gentle movement. Here's what just a 1-ounce serving, about a small handful, contains: pumpkin seeds, 168 mg magnesium, 40% of daily needs. Almonds, 77 mg magnesium, 200 mg potassium. Cashews, 74 mg magnesium, sucrose, healthy fats that improve blood flow. They also contain protein, which helps rebuild muscle tissue, and healthy fats like omega-3s, and monounsaturated fats, which reduce inflammation and boost circulation, both essential for preventing cramps and improving mobility. A small habit with big results. Mrs. Darlene didn't know any of this at the time, but after a few weeks of snacking on nuts, she realized she was sleeping through the night again. No more sudden jerks, no more curling up in pain, just rest, real rest. When she told her doctor, he smiled and said, "Turns out your snack is more therapeutic than most prescriptions." How to make nuts work for you. Start small. 1 handful a day is enough. Choose unsalted raw or dry roasted nuts to avoid excess sodium, which can actually lead to dehydration. Sprinkle seeds like chia flax or pumpkin onto salads, oatmeal, or yogurt. Try eating them with meals to help absorb minerals better. After a walk to aid muscle recovery. Before bed to keep your muscles calm through the night. And if you have digestive issues, chew slowly or consider soaking nuts overnight to make them gentler on your system. Some solutions don't come in bottles or boxes. Sometimes healing begins with the way we nourish our body every single day with things as ordinary as almonds or pumpkin seeds. And now that we've seen how food can help us recover and stay strong, in the next part, we'll turn our attention to the other side of the story, the mistakes we unknowingly make, the habits that might be quietly undoing all our good efforts, even when we think we're eating healthy. Let's uncover the most common dietary mistake that still causes leg cramps even in people who do everything right. 5. Mistake number 1. Drinking enough water. Still getting cramps? Here's what you're missing. Mr. Rick, now 70, had always been meticulous about his health. Every morning he would track how much water he drank the day before, making sure to hit exactly 2 liters of plain water, no more, no less. "I thought staying hydrated would stop the cramps," he said, but they kept coming every night. It left him confused. He did everything right, drank water, walked daily, ate reasonably well, yet the pain still returned unannounced and unforgiving. Then one day at a local nutrition workshop, a dietitian asked him a simple question. Are you replenishing electrolytes or are you just drinking plain water? That one question shifted everything. Rick had always assumed that water alone was enough, but the truth was a bit more complex. Why can you be hydrated but still dehydrated? The human body doesn't just need water. It needs water plus minerals known as electrolytes, sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium. These minerals help regulate cellular pressure, nerve signaling, and muscle contractions. When you only drink plain water, especially in large amounts, you can actually dilute your electrolyte levels, leading to a condition sometimes called internal salt depletion. This is why many people still experience leg cramps even when they've been drinking enough. A real-life shift that made all the difference. After that conversation, Mr. Rick made a few small changes. He added a tiny pinch of sea salt to his morning glass of water. He swapped his afternoon black tea for coconut water, a natural source of potassium and magnesium. And he began eating more dark leafy greens, plain yogurt, and nuts foods rich in essential electrolytes. The results. Within 10 days, the nightly cramps became less frequent. After 3 weeks, he began sleeping through the night. And for the first time in months, he woke up without fearing the pain of setting his feet on the floor. We often forget that the body doesn't just run on the amount of water, it runs on the quality of hydration, or more precisely, the minerals carried with it. When electrolytes are missing, everything from muscle function to nerve response can go haywire. So if you're drinking plenty of water and still cramping, take a closer look. Is your water empty? If so, don't hesitate to add a pinch of sea salt sip on coconut water or enjoy a warm bowl of vegetable broth with a little bone stock. Because sometimes pain doesn't come from what's missing, it comes from what's missing quietly. Next, we'll dive into something that might surprise you, a factor that seems unrelated, but plays a hidden role in worsening muscle cramps, sleep, and stress. And you might be amazed to learn how a few simple changes in your nightly routine and just 5 minutes of calm can completely change how your legs feel in the morning. Let's explore that together in the next part. 6. Stress and sleep. The silent culprits draining strength from your legs. Mrs. Clara, 66, lived a disciplined life. She ate clean, practiced yoga regularly, and followed what many would call an ideal daily routine. But for nearly a year, she was still plagued by nighttime leg cramps, despite doing all the right things, staying hydrated, taking electrolytes, stretching before bed. Then during a casual conversation with a neuropsychologist, she was asked a simple question. Have you been sleeping well? And more importantly, is your mind actually resting? The question left her quiet, because deep down she knew the answer. She went to bed early, yes, but her mind never stopped running. Worries about her grandchildren, unfinished to-do lists, unanswered emails. Her body was still, but her thoughts were wide awake. How chronic stress quietly disrupts the body. When we experience stress, our bodies release cortisol, a hormone that helps us stay alert and responsive. But when cortisol levels stay elevated for too long, it comes at a cost. It decreases the body's ability to absorb magnesium, a key mineral for muscle relaxation. It increases low-grade inflammation, making muscle recovery more difficult. It interferes with deep sleep cycles, which are essential for restoring energy and healing muscle tissue. The result? You sleep but don't heal. You lie down but your muscles remain tense, and eventually your body speaks up in the form of a sudden cramp in the middle of the night. A simple change that made all the difference. Once Clara understood the deeper root of her problem, she tried something she had never done before, a short breathing meditation before bed. Just 5 minutes each night, sitting upright in bed, she practiced the 4-7-8 method. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 7 seconds. Exhale slowly for 8. She also started writing down 3 things she was grateful for at the end of each day, what she called clearing the mental clutter. No pills, no fancy equipment, just a few minutes of stillness. And remarkably, within weeks, she began sleeping deeper. She no longer woke up at 2 or 3 a.m., her legs stopped cramping, and she woke up with something she hadn't felt in months: calm. The body needs nourishment, but the mind needs rest. And sometimes only when the mind is at ease can the body and your legs truly recover. If you've been eating well, exercising and hydrating, yet you're still struggling, it may be time to look inward, because the most powerful piece of health might be the one we can't see. Up next, to bring everything together from food hydration to rest, I'd like to share something incredibly practical, a 3-day sample meal plan to help prevent leg cramps. It's simple, nutritious, and designed especially with older adults in mind. Let's build a gentle healing menu together right after this. 7. A 3-day meal plan. Nourishing your legs from the inside out. At a local senior wellness gathering, Mrs. Ellen 72 once shared something that made the room fall silent. I eat healthy, but honestly, I'm not sure if I'm really nourishing my body or just following habits. That quiet honesty struck a chord, because for many of us, especially as we age, eating becomes more about routine than purpose. We eat to fill our stomachs, not always to heal or strengthen. But our bodies, particularly our muscles and nervous system, need intentional care, not just calories. After following a meal plan tailored to reduce leg cramps, Mrs. Ellen said that by day 5, her legs felt lighter, the morning aches faded, and most surprisingly, she was sleeping deeper than she had in months. So what should we eat to prevent cramps? Think of a meal like a symphony. Each part, protein, minerals, healthy fats, plays a note that helps your body run smoothly. Here's a simple 3-day sample menu designed to help replenish electrolytes, nourish muscle tissue, and support the nervous system, especially for older adults. Day 1, light and balanced, rebuilding electrolyte levels. Breakfast: 1 boiled egg, whole grain toast with almond butter, 1 small banana. Lunch: grilled salmon plus sautéed spinach with garlic, small bowl of brown rice, bone broth, vegetable soup. Dinner: butternut squash soup with pumpkin seeds on top, unsweetened almond milk, 1 kiwi or a handful of walnuts. Day 2, muscle recovery and nerve support breakfast: oatmeal with milk, chia seeds, and flax seeds, half an avocado with whole grain toast, fresh coconut water. Lunch: grilled chicken breast, plus mixed greens with olive oil, steamed sweet potato, plain yogurt for dessert. Dinner: seaweed and tofu soup, glass noodles with mushrooms, cantaloupe or pear slices. Day 3, rebuilding and calming breakfast: 1 sunny-side-up egg, multi-grain toast with pumpkin seeds, warm herbal tea. Lunch: braised tofu with mushrooms, plus steamed vegetables, bowl of brown rice, glass of kefir, lightly fermented milk. Dinner: oatmeal with walnuts and banana slices, warm milk or lemon honey water before bed. One thing to keep in mind: you don't have to follow these meals exactly. The key is to build a plate with electrolytes, high-quality protein, healthy fats, and natural anti-inflammatories. Your body doesn't need perfection. It needs consistency, diversity, and intention. And no, you don't have to be a great cook. As long as your food is fresh, simple, and real, you're already offering your body a quiet, powerful gift of healing each day. If food is how the body heals, then movement is the breath that brings it to life. In the next section, we'll explore gentle exercises, no weights, no gym that can ease cramps, restore flexibility, and make your legs feel steady, youthful, and alive again. Let's keep going. 8. Simple exercises to keep your legs flexible and cramp-free. Mr. Gerald 75 was once an avid sports lover. Throughout his younger years, he played tennis, hiked regularly, and even ran a marathon in his 50s. But after retirement, life slowed down, and so did his body. Knee pain made him hesitant to move, and then came the night cramps like a stubborn reminder, your body isn't what it used to be. But instead of giving in to that idea, he began a new journey, a return to simple, intentional movement. Why gentle movement matters. As we age, blood circulation slows, muscles lose elasticity, and nerve signals don't travel as quickly as they used to. If we don't stretch and stimulate our muscles regularly, they become stiff, unresponsive, and prone to cramping. Exercise doesn't have to mean sweating in a gym. Sometimes just 5 to 10 minutes of mindful movement a day can improve blood flow to the lower body, maintain flexibility and muscle elasticity, ease pressure on peripheral nerves, help tired muscles recover more efficiently. Mr. Gerald's favorite routine and the surprising results each morning? After waking up, Mr. Gerald spends about 7 minutes doing a small set of movements. Calf stretches against the wall, 30 seconds per leg. Slow ankle circles, 10 rotations each direction. Bridge pose to activate hips and thighs. Seated forward bend to gently stretch the back and legs. In the evening, just before bed, he repeats a few gentle stretches while practicing deep breathing. Within 2 weeks, something unexpected happened. The cramps stopped and he began sleeping more peacefully and waking up more refreshed. It felt like someone pumped new life into my legs, he said. Choose the movement that feels right for you. If you're new to exercise, start slow. A 10-minute walk after dinner, or simply elevating your legs while lying down to improve circulation can make a real difference. You can play soft music, breathe deeply, and let your body guide you. No pressure, no judgment. Just a quiet conversation with your body, a way of saying, I hear you. I'm here for you. Let's move again. Now that you've learned how to nourish, rest, and gently move your legs, perhaps the final piece isn't physical at all, but something deeper: how you choose to view aging and your own strength. In the final section, we'll reflect on everything we've explored, and I want to share something deeply personal, what I've learned after speaking with dozens of older adults who once believed that weak legs were just a fact of life. You'll want to hear this. 9. Age doesn't weaken your legs. It's the belief that does. I still remember the quiet conversation I had with Mr. Henry, a 78-year-old retired bus driver from Minnesota. He sat in his old armchair in the living room, legs crossed, holding a warm cup of cocoa. I used to think my legs got weak because I got old. But now I realize they got weak because I stopped believing they could be strong again. His words caught me off guard, because in them he captured a truth that many older adults don't often speak out loud. We don't just age in our bodies. Sometimes we age in our beliefs. When aging isn't the end, but the beginning of something new. Yes, our bodies change with time. Muscles thin, joints stiffen, but the ability to recover and rebuild when properly supported is still there. Many believe that after 60 it's all downhill, but that's an outdated mindset. Modern research shows older adults can gain muscle mass with the right protein intake and consistent movement. Nerve cells can relearn how to send proper signals through nutrition and stimulation. Circulation can improve significantly after just 4 weeks of regular walking. Sylvia's story, when legs become strength, not a burden. At 69, Sylvia relied on a walker to go grocery shopping. Every staircase was a challenge, and she once said, "I probably have a few more years before I stop walking altogether." But with her son's encouragement, she started making changes. She began eating proper breakfast again, added greens and nuts to her meals, practiced deep breathing before bed, and walked around her yard for 10 minutes each morning. No miracles, just small daily choices. 6 months later, she no longer needed her walker. She could go up and down steps without holding on. And most of all, she began smiling again when she talked about her legs. We can't turn back time, but we can absolutely reshape how we move forward. Proper nutrition, gentle movement, deep rest. These simple, quiet habits form the foundation not just for strength, but for confidence. And if there's one thing I hope you take with you after this video, it's what I want to share with you next. Not a medical tip, but a heartfelt message. Your body can still get better at any age. Don't miss the final part. I want to speak to you as a friend walking this journey with you. 10. Your legs aren't just for walking, they're for living fully. When Mr. Paul turned 80, his grandchildren gave him a special birthday gift, a brand new pair of sneakers. He chuckled shyly and said, "Where am I even going these days that I'd need sneakers?" But his youngest granddaughter wrapped her arms around him and whispered, "Grandpa, they're not for going far. They're so you can walk out to the garden and pick roses like you used to." That day, Mr. Paul laced up his new shoes and stepped into the backyard. His pace was slow but steady. Each step felt like reconnecting with a piece of memory. Spring afternoons, his late wife waiting by the rose bush, the years when his legs didn't just carry him from place to place, but carried joy, love, and everything in between. Our legs, carriers of memory and possibility. We often think of our legs as tools for walking, standing, getting things done. But the truth is, our legs carry our whole life story. From our first steps as toddlers, to rushing off to work, to strolling beside the one we love in the quiet of old age. Every phase of life has been marked by how and where our legs have taken us. Even as time changes them, the meaning they carry never fades. We're not just preventing cramps. We're protecting our dignity. Throughout this journey, we've talked about eggs, bananas, seeds, hydration, sleep, movement, beliefs, and habits. But at its heart, this isn't just about easing pain. This is about preserving your ability to live fully, to get out of bed in the morning, walk onto your porch, hold the hand of someone you love, or simply fetch a glass of water when you're thirsty. No more depending, no more hesitation, just a body being respected by you. And now it's your turn to take the next step. I hope that after this video, you'll see your legs in a new light, not as something growing weaker, but as something worthy of care, intention, and love. Start with your next meal, with a glass of water enriched with a bit of electrolytes, with a few minutes of gentle stretching before bed, and with the belief that your body at any age can still grow stronger. Thank you for staying with me until the end. If this message resonated with you, I'd love for you to subscribe and turn on notifications so we can keep walking this journey together. And if this made you think of someone, please share it. Because maybe, just maybe, you'll be the reason someone else decides to take their next step with hope.